And we are live. What is up, everybody? Brad Modrich here, coming to you. Like I said, I was going to do today. I got a great guy on today. But before we get started, those who have been following know, first thing I always do is I give a big shout out and a big hug to my son, who is a United States Marine. He's stationed over in Okinawa. Son, we can't wait to see you, man. We miss you. We love you. And that goes as well with all of the other military personnel that are deployed all across the world. So thank you for your services. We also like to give a big shout out to all of the essential workers, all of the first responders, the EMT, the police officers, the firefighters, all of you guys that are on the front lines dealing with this pandemic. Thank you for all that you do from the bottom of our heart, and especially the medical teams, the nurses, the doctors who are working effortlessly in trying to get this thing put away. So that being said, let's get right into it. I have a special guest. I met this guy a couple years ago, and the second I saw him, I knew this guy had some swag to him. He had a good creative side to him. I love chopping it up because it's always a deep conversation. The conversations aren't taken lightly. There's a lot of thinking that goes into it, and this is what I love about him. Lehigh Valley's very own Mr. Joe Berrios. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well, man, as good as I could be doing. Super excited to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm just ready to rock and roll, man.
Yeah, man. So real quick, I want all of our guests to know who you are. So when I met you as a contractor, a real estate investor. And then that was when kind of right around the birth of Bank 7 came to life. So that's kind of when I met you. And I know since then you've added multiple businesses. You got the creative program, your marketing company that you're doing.
Yep.
I know you got your show that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So let's talk about, what the businesses that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I currently am still invested into Bank 7, which is a consulting program for small businesses and mid-sized businesses. And what I do is I walk side by side with the CEOs and business owners and just help them understand how to become more effective and efficient in their business, how to minimize some things that are killing the business and maximize on the things that's going to help it grow exponentially. I've been doing that for a while now. And through doing that, I just found myself always going back to the creative. People asking me for creative ideas, concepts, and marketing. And I had the opportunity to co-found and now I lead a creative agency. So what we do, it's called Milk Creative, and we literally focus on brand development. And that's exactly what we work on. We've had the opportunity to work with very large brands, all the way as large as New Balance and Adidas, to American Heart Association, but down to your local Lehigh Valley businesses as well. And it's just been an amazing experience to take people's brand and tell a story in such a unique way.
Yeah, that's great. So would you say that you obviously like the creative side more of the consulting side?
If I had to choose, it all depends on the day of the week and who I'm working with, man.
Because you're a creative dude.
So what's funny is I actually don't deem myself as creative at all. There was a study that was done, and
are you going to tell me you're an artist?
No, dude. I wouldn't say I'm any of the above. Right. I'm just someone who likes to think outside the box. Yeah. I would say I'm still maturing as a man, so I probably have the mind of a child. So what people see as creative is me just not accepting the fact that I'm an adult and just being willing to think very big and be almost dreamy about how I think. Yeah. But to answer your question, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy consulting. It's what pays the bills, and it's what helps other people pay their bills. What I enjoy about it is being able to take businesses and see them become more successful, but not be the person that makes the decisions for them. I help them see the opportunities and allow them make the decisions for themselves, which then in return allows them to be the hero to their own story, which is so gratifying for me and for them at the same time. But in regards to the creative agency, what I enjoy about it so much is it allows me to be that child. It allows me to just do things that are not normal. It allows me to dress not normal, and allows me to be accepted for who I am.
I love it, man. And that's what makes you so unique, bro. It really really does. So we can go business route, we can go marketing, creative. I also know, and I know the pedigree of the person you are. You are a leader in your community. You're a leader in your church. You're a leader in your business. You're a leader in other groups that you're always kind of that guy, right? You're a go-to guy. So, obviously the whole point of why we started this show was to give people a little nugget, something that they can take, something that they could leave with. So I just want to pick that business consultant brain of yours, right?
Okay.
And I just want to kind of give you a scenario, just some real basic stuff, some key elements that people can do, because I have a lot of people who own businesses. I hate using the word entrepreneur anymore.
Yeah.
I got a lot of guys that own businesses, men and women that own businesses, and that, they're getting duffed right now. My wife being one of them, we had to shut down she shut her spa down since March 14th. So again, put that business consultant cap hat on, right? And what are some key elements or some things that people could be doing with their business? Because I know what me and my wife have been doing, but I want to hear it coming from, an actual business consultant's kind of framework. What are some key elements? And I know all businesses are diverse depending on their product sales or services, whatever they do. But in general, there's a general thing that people can be doing right now. What are some of those things?
Yeah. So I simplify it. I say you have to keep applying the heat. And what I mean by that is during these times, and I actually did a video about a year ago, we often find these times where we're stagnant in January to March, and that almost is existent in all industries besides maybe logistics. And what I mean by that is a lot of companies are coming off of that rebound of Christmas and people aren't spending money. So we're trying to figure out what it is we can do to just stay afloat. Now, obviously, this situation is dramatically worse or dramatically more effective towards our business. And what I'm getting to is you have to remain calm and steadily apply the heat. So it's very similar to making mac and cheese or whatever. You have to keep applying the heat to the pot until the water boils. And sometimes it takes longer than anticipated. But as long as you keep applying the heat, eventually it'll come to a boil. What I've been explaining to my clients, especially during the beginning of this whole pandemic, was, it's time for the leaders to come out, show how authentic they are, put your money where your mouth is. I mean, it's very easy to talk about the things that we're willing to do for our community when we're successful. But it's now the time where people are seeing who's really about what they're saying during the difficult times. What I was explaining and expressing to my clients and to other people that I've had on calls is, brand loyalty has never been up for grabs more than it is right now. What most people don't recognize is whether I buy something the first time in your business, whether it's a service, a product, whether I actually purchase anything my first time, the first time is still the experience that's going to make the brand loyalty for me. So there's a 50% chance that someone's going to remain loyal to your brand, even if they don't buy something the first time. And right now is that whole concept's reset. I know the pastor of my church, he's one of those people that even if he doesn't like the new product, just because he knows the brand, he'll stay with that brand. Just because we know Nike, we continue to buy Nikes, even though the Ultra Boost is a far more comfortable shoe for a long distance run, we stick to Nike. But right now is a time where that whole palette is clean. And what I'm telling people in regards to applying the heat is you have to be the person that's willing to grab the market share. Be authentic, show who you are, give people the behind the scenes of your business, express what you're doing in the community, let people know the great things they could be doing at home, show people how they could be the hero of their own story, show people how you can walk side by side with them as they become the hero of their own story. And while doing this, you're grabbing market share that didn't exist for you before, because whether people like Nike or they like conflict, right now I'm open to whoever is going to grab my attention. And while doing this, you have to figure out a way to sustain your own market, because those people who are in your market are also in the same position. So it's not necessarily the loudest person that's going to be the most effective, but the most strategic person, the most authentic person is going to be the person that's the most effective in grabbing that market share.
I just got goosebumps, bro. I just had we're obviously, aesthetics in the aesthetics business, and I'm not to, talk too much about my wife's business, but it's a very competitive market right now, extremely competitive. And the screwed up part is Lehigh County is shut down, but there's all of the areas south of us that are open. So, we even had this quote, we literally just had this conversation today about and I was using another word, be relevant to your customers, teach them, put something out there, keep that engagement going, because the more that you can stay relevant and live and on their tongues and who you are, and you're fighting it with them, we're going to get through this. And do three things. I always had three, always, I always fell back on this. You have to entertain, you have to inspire, or you have to educate. It's got to be one of those three things, right? Yeah. And keep that keep it fresh, keep it live, share your emotions, show your vulnerability. I still screw that word up. No shit. I've been screwing that word up for 10 years.
Oh, good.
Show them, that you're hurting, but then don't just be a platform to, oh, woe is me. Hey, we're going to get through this. Let me show you how we're going to do this, and be that beacon of light, man. Oh, I'm going to hit this one. This gentleman, I know, this guy here.
Yes.
Mr. Jason Morgan. What's up, Big J? Great guy.
Oh my God. Amazing. I watched that guy transform from being a subpar, and I could say that because he knows me personally, but a subpar CrossFit athlete to an outstanding bodybuilding physique. I watched his body transform to getting probably close to 5 or 4% body fat in competition mode. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy, man. Seth, I'm so glad you just reinforced the conversation that I had with my life. So that's great. Stay relative. Again, for me, just something that can keep your costs down, because I know there's some financial strategies. Get on your social media, start creating that audience in your community, create that brand awareness, and and it's free, right? You don't have to do Google AdWords and all that other nonsense, and Facebook ads. Just be relevant, right?
Yeah. What I always say is the beauty behind this pandemic right now is we're all going through the same exact thing. We all look bad. None of us feel beautiful. We're all probably eating bad. None of us are able to go to a gym unless we have a home gym. We're all in the same boat. So even to your wife with the aesthetic part, right now is the time to get in front of the camera the most, because now you show yourself in raw, vulnerable form. And there's something beautiful about being vulnerable to the public, because you allow them to see how you build yourself up, and it inspires them to build themselves up individually. You have your entertain, inspire, educate. I have educate, inspire, and activate. So, let's inform them on what they can do. Let's inspire them by our own leadership, and then let's activate what we want them to do on their own, because at the end of the day, what we activate them to do is going to ultimately help your business and help them as an individual anyway. And what I say is, you have to stay top of mind. So with you saying staying relevant, it's absolutely necessary. I had clients in the beginning of this, and I foresaw that this pandemic was going to happen, and they own a restaurant. And I said, listen, guys, you're going to get shut down. There's no way around this. So what are you going to do right now to prepare yourself to remain open and sustain your clients, your business, and your employees? What are you going to do to be top of mind then? And then what are we going to plan so you can stay top of mind when people have the options again? There's businesses that are open right now, and they think this is how it's going to be forever. But when the floodgates open again, people have options. And it's even things that, again, we're using your wife as a case study just because it's easy. I'm going to have X amount of dollars that I could spend as soon as we open up to yellow and green phases. But I don't have the same amount of money I used to have. So I have to pick and choose what pockets I'm going to put this money in when I'm ready to go spend my money. So how does your wife stay top of mind in her business, that out of the $5 that Joe may have, I know he might spend $1 at this food restaurant. He might spend $1 on getting, some clothing. I want to make sure that one of those dollars goes to my business.
I love it. That's great. And how do you do that?
It's exactly what we're saying, man. It's being that person that's being willing to be the leader, willing to be vocal, willing to inspire others. And right now, more than ever, is to position yourself as an expert.
That's great.
Continue giving out free advice. There's nothing wrong with giving free advice. I have another client, and I explain to her often, give free advice. And if someone decides to do it on their own, great, because you're the one that inspired that. However, most of the time, even with you giving free advice, people aren't going to do what you're teaching them to do, but you're positioning yourself as the expert that they're going to go to when they need your service.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I this year I started taking on one-on-one clients for peak performance. You know, not people who are just starting their journey. I want people who are kind of in that middle, that maybe fell off, that are looking to go back up, that mid-level management and above to executive management. So one of the things that I've been saying to these guys, especially as a leader, and you can appreciate this, leader to leader, and I feel confident saying that you're a leader, especially in your community.
Thank you.
You know, especially for leaders right now, you got to take that same aspect that you just said, and you got to rally people. You got to do, even if it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel like it's something that you normally do. This is like a call to action for all people who wanted to use that title leader. Like, this is when you got to just, and I've been saying this for forever, put up or shut up.
Yes.
Like, put up right now. This is the opportunity. This is when people need you the most. This is when you could be a force for good. And again, this is the whole reason why I did this. You know, in terms of our financial situation, you know, we're good, but there was just something I was missing, and this is it right here. Just the one-on-one coaching, the peak performance, the rallying up the troops. And I'm just like, Brad, if you don't do something right now, bro, you are full of shit. So that's where this came from, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your show, man. Let's talk about the show. I know this is a big project you're working on. I got a chance to kind of peek in, and I looked at the episode with Mary, and the first thing, and I noticed it right away, just because, you know, these are the things I look at. Over 100,000 views.
Yeah, we've had a few episodes that really just took off, and man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful every day.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the show is called With Joe Show. We kept it very simple. It is created by my team, Milk Creative. And what we do is we kept it hyper local for the first few seasons. And what the show is we take leaders, business owners, anybody who's an influencer, specifically in the Lehigh Valley right now, and we meet them at their place of business. We learn a little bit about their place of business. But then the beauty behind the show is the templated approach is we take them out of their business to a different business so that we can solicit that business, showcase that business, multi-purpose. And then we, at the very end, take them to do something fun. And the reason why I take them out of their element is because when someone's out of their element, now we're not comfortable. And that is what my approach is. I want to take these leaders out of their level of comfort and show them in that vulnerable stage, because then the viewer on the other side of the screen watching the show gets to see, like, man, that person's so successful, but they feel uncomfortable going into a recording studio with Joe, just like I would feel uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable doing a dance off with Joe, just like I'd feel uncomfortable. So I take them to do silly things because it shows them in their most vulnerable state. And that allows the viewer to be inspired by the success of that person. Because at the end of the day, we all put our pants on the same way. We all feel emotions. We get happy. We get sad. We all feel hunger. We all feel the same exact things. During this pandemic, it's realer than ever. Even, you know, the top companies in this world are feeling the pain. This is just a way to showcase that in a fun way so that, you know, I'm showing off a really dope business while at the same time inspiring someone to be just as successful.
That's awesome, man. And you're going on season 2 right now.
Yes, season 2.
Season 2.
Yes.
So and I from what I take of this, you already have this. So soon it's going to be actually recording time for season 3. Like the actual recording part.
Yeah.
Man, that's outstanding, bro. I definitely want to learn and find out more, and anything that I could do to either help make connections, not that you need help or anything. I'm not saying that, but if there's somewhere I can get you in and I could use my network to kind of partner up with you, bro, I'm here for you.
I appreciate that.
We're going to shift gears one more time because I know you are deep in your faith.
Yes.
You have a lot of responsibilities at your church, some nonprofits that you're working with. I know you had mentioned, what was the name of it? 1 Million Children.
Yep. 1 Million Children.
1 Million Children. A lot of good stuff that you're doing. I'm going to go down a little bit of a path because there's some people I know just from some coaching calls that I've had over the past few weeks that, a conflict, the third bullet point of conflict is to help people with a drug addiction or a criminal conviction kind of get their life back on track. That's the third principle of conflict.
Yeah.
And I know right now there's a lot of substance abuse right now. There's a lot of people going through it. Someone who's really near and dear to me just got admitted. And then he got out and then he got arrested. This is a lifelong friend who just was at that breaking point, and the pandemic just kind of put him over. A lot of people out there, man, are kind of going through it mentally and I want to say spiritually, right? They feel lost, they feel out. Just some words from you, if what you would be saying to that kind of market or that audience, and from your experience, because I know you have experience. Listen, we all been around the block, and I know you've definitely been on the block. What's that message sound like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually, so I've had the opportunity to preach at my church a few times, and I'm so grateful for it. And first and foremost, like I'm just grateful for everything that God has blessed me with. And one thing's for certain is, without trial, there's no testimony. And that's what I'm telling people right now is without trial, there's no testimony. And, the way things are happening, they have to happen in order for us to really come out victorious and to have that testimony to be able to inspire people in the future. And, when it comes to my faith, true faith is being able to have hope when you can't see when things are going to be brighter. And, I firmly believe that, we're going to come out of this in a stronger format. We're going to be better. We're going to grow from this. And that's like literally what I'm telling everybody is to just have faith. Even when you feel like you can't see it, just know that, even as history has shown itself, whether it's biblical or it's just American history, we have overcome so many things, and there's so many promises for us as human beings that as long as we stay in this race, we'll come out better on the other side.
That's so strong. Blind faith, man. I just heard this term. I was one of my guests or one of my clients, and he said, you almost have to have the vision that a race car, like for people who aren't deep in their faith, just so people can get an understanding. Because when you're walking, and you're deep in your faith and, whatever that religion is, you're usually bound by that faith, right? It's keeping you there. It's understanding what faith is. And for people that don't really understand this was the best explanation I got. Imagine you're a race car driver and there's an accident on the track, and there's all of the smoke, and all of a sudden you're coming whipping around at 150 160 miles an hour, and you have to have that feeling that everything is going to be good. I'm going to get through this fire and smoke, and everything's good. And usually that's the case because you had faith in your skills and your driving, and you took it up a little bit. You kind of knew you just had faith that everything was going to be okay. And that's what a lot of people need right now. They got to have faith.
Yeah. Yeah. And whether, again, I mean, I'm a Christian, so my faith is in Jesus, but whether you believe in Drake or whatever you want to believe in, the Cowboys, whatever the case may be, how you apply your thoughts is what ultimately is going to be the results. So if I'm just focused on the negative day in and day out, ultimately what I give out is going to be negative, and I'm just going to attract more negative along the way. Whereas when I have blind faith and I know what God is capable of doing, I can focus on that. I can have that vision, like you're saying, when the racetrack is clear, I can focus at moving 110 miles an hour and knowing that any obstacle that may come in my way, I can go past it. And as long as I stay on the track and I stay steadfast with that, again, history has proven itself, dude. Like we've had so many different, whether it's pandemics, recessions, we always come out better on the other side. And I'm reading a devotional in the Bible right now. And there was a pastor who was explaining it, and he started breaking down the Bible, and he's like, God makes these promises on people. And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I can look at the past and tell you how great things have happened every time something bad is in front of us.
Man, I just literally seen a timeline. And the crazy thing is I've been through some pretty bad shit.
Yes.
and
I
I'm
know your
still
story.
here, and I'm here, and everything's good. You know what I mean? That's great stuff, man. You know this guy's joining us, Mr. Darren Vasquez.
Yes, he's on season 2 of the show.
He is? Okay, good deal, man. Mr. Big Darren, you know him. Here, he wanted to say that I have a criminal conviction and crush on Joe.
He also likes how tight my pants are.
I knew you would.
he makes fun of that often.
Oh man, great stuff, brother. Anything you want to promote, anything that you want to talk about, whether it's your personal brand, your church, your nonprofit, because this is awesome, man. I want to continue this. I love having people on you with the same kind of pedigree and the thinking that I have. I want to continue this, man. So this, I'd love to have you on the show again here in the future.
Yeah.
And we could chop it up all day. I could chop it up all day with you, bro.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is right now is the time to be creative more than ever. You're going to see some of the most amazing things come out of this pandemic that we didn't know existed, or we didn't recognize. There were so many businesses that were developed. I believe, Instagram was developed during the last recession. WhatsApp was developed in the last recession. There are all these big companies that in the front end, like we would have never recognized, but they came out during a time like this and they sold for billions of dollars. So right now is the time to be creative, think outside the box. Everybody's in the same boat as you. And the beauty is the reset button that you're hitting right now, we normally blame that on failure. We're all in the same boat right now. So you can't blame it on something you failed at. So take advantage of the fact that we're all at 0,000 right now. And now it's a matter of who's going to run faster. And I'll be damned if anybody runs faster than me. I'm trying to move as fast as possible. I know you're doing the same. Another thing that I'd want people to leave with is, we often use the word leaders, and then there are so many people who feel like they don't identify as a leader because, they may not own a business, they may not be a manager, they may not be an influencer, whatever the case may be. But what I explain all the time is you're a leader to somebody, whether you recognize it or not. You're a leader to somebody. And I'll go all the way down to the extent of my wife. So my wife, she started working out in the past 2 months. She posts stuff often on her Instagram, and she doesn't have like a trillion followers. It's very small to her core friends and family. And my wife's sister the other day sent her a message, and she was like, "Hey, can you help me?" And my wife was like, "With what?" If I can, of course. And she goes, I bought the band that you're using. I bought a water bottle. I bought this. I bought that. Can you show me what videos you've been watching and how I can get started? And now, mind you, my wife would never identify herself as a leader because that's just who she is. She's extremely humble, and I love her for that. But because she was willing to be that person that stood out and was willing to put her stuff on the front end of her platform, was willing to be vulnerable with her audience, she was able to lead people and inspire people that are so close to home for her. And that creates that ripple effect that I saw Jay Morgan talk about earlier. It's a matter of whether or not we're willing to throw that rock into the pond. And when that ripple effect happens, I may not influence 1 trillion people, but I know I can influence 10, and they can influence 10, and they can influence 10. And next thing you know, we're 1,000 to 100,000 people deep of how many people were influenced because you decided to step out the box. So whether you identify as a leader or not, just know that someone's watching, someone is moldable, and someone's paying attention. You're inspiring someone. So stay true to that. Try to be the best version of yourself daily, even when it's hard. Figure out things that can allow you to reset and recalibrate, and just find ways to inspire yourself as well. I think where we often get lost is there's so much stuff available on social media, and we follow these people that are called motivators. And motivation is great, but motivation has an end date to it. I could be motivated till I walk out the gym. Inspiration is limitless. So rather than trying to motivate someone by being hoorah rah, let's figure out how we can inspire people so that there's an infinite impact on the people that they inspire. And that's all it's about, man. I mean, Kobe left a legacy. Jordan left a legacy. LeBron will leave a legacy. And it's because they weren't focused on just being motivated for the 60 minutes on the court. They're focused on inspiring people off the court, and they're willing to work hard so that they could go into 4 or 5 overtimes. And that's like ultimately what it is. You're all dope enough to be Nike athletes. It's just, some of us are 7 feet tall and some of us aren't. In regards to what I'd promote, man, as always, getmilkcreative.com is the website of my team. At I am Joseph AB. If you can, come on, and if I can motivate you, backtrack. If I can inspire you in any way, or at least be goofy enough to make you laugh, that'd be awesome as well. And With Joe Show, youtube.com/With Joe Show. Second season's coming out sometime this summer, and I'm excited for it.
That's great, man. And you're so spot on. Motivation is like taking a shower. Lasts for a couple minutes, man. It's not real. Inspiration creates, it invokes action. We got some couple people here I want to give a shout out to. Mr. Nathaniel Seal. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining.
That guy looks strong. He looks so strong.
Yeah, he's a big dude, man. He's a powerhouse. Miss Julie, thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, Jules. Mr. Steven, he's a great guy. Another
dude, he's so diverse, that guy right there.
He is.
He's amazing.
And you know Renan, Mr. Renan.
I do not, but he looks strong too, man. These guys are so strong. Everybody on this call.
Renan's a great guy, and Jason Morgan was saying, "Yep." To this popped up when you were mentioning the fact of anyone can be a leader, right? Yes. And then Kevin Castulli got goosebumps. That's good, man. We created some action. We wanted. That's what we wanted, man. So listen, real quick, just to piggyback on what Joe said, everyone. I love that we're finishing off on that nugget you just gave. If you're not an influencer, you don't own a business, someone's watching. Someone's watching you. Yep. It could be your kid. It could be your aunt. It could be your mother, your wife. Someone is watching you. So just because you're not a brand or you're a business, it's important that, and what's going to help you kind of get on track. This is the 7 steps I've been preaching from day one. Get your body moving, exercise, do something, go for a walk, get the body pumping, throw on some freestyle Lisette Melendez and have a dance party in your living room if you need to, right? Just something, right? Get the body moving, read, pick up a book, learn something. And when I say read, normally I'm talking about self-development. In this case, I don't care what you're reading. Learn how to, like me, I took on a project while this was down. I am on a mission to have green grass. Like I am dead set on a mission. I ruined my grass last year. It looked like some ghetto ass house with burnt grass out front. So learn something, right? Number 3, keep a routine. Keep a routine. Keep those biorhythms kind of at that natural state they were when you were working and you were getting up and you were doing the things you were doing. Stay productive. Keep a little to-do list. Even if it's something as simple, I've been meaning to fix that crack on the wall. Just get that done, because when you check something off a list, there's something that happens where you feel good, where you had a sense of accomplishment, and that builds confidence. Confidence can help you through this, right? Don't waste time. Just because you can Netflix and chill all day doesn't mean you got to have a week marathon, a 2-week marathon. Get a little bit of, have a little downtime, relax a little bit, but get back on your shit. Number 6, stay positive. Attitude in this what we're going through right now, attitude is everything. And again, you never know who's watching. Be that voice of positivity, be that force of good. Feed something that's going to make you good. For me, I just figured out some of my triggers the other day. Some of my triggers is I got to get on. I'm going to always go jump on my treadmill, and I'm going to throw on some gangster rap, man. It literally frames my mind and gets me right back. And then number 7, Joe, and I know you're going to agree with this one, and you've been doing it unconditionally. When in doubt and you're feeling like it's just kind of burdening on you, go help someone. Mm-hmm. Go help someone. Pick up a phone. Help them mentally. When you pour yourself into other people, right? And this is the opening statement of my book. If you truly want to be successful, you must be willing to help people that can never repay you, right? You must be willing to do things for people that can never, ever repay you. This is that time where we can help others, because we're all going through conflict. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from, what socioeconomic status you come from, how much money you got. We all have conflict. And the question that I ask you every day is, what are you doing to conquer your conflicts? What are you doing to fight the fight? At the end of the day, you got to own this shit. You got to own it, 100% of it, every part of it. Control the 3 feet in front of you. Mr. Berrios, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
So glad to have you on here. I love what you're doing. I've always had a little kind of attraction to your style and the way that you flow. You're great.
Same attraction as Darren.
Yeah, same. He's back on here too. Let's see what he said. He said, "I'm buff."
Yeah.
He said, "I'm buff," and then he said, "What he does is drive fast cars."
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that because you didn't let me drive any, Darren. You let everyone else take them for rides.
Yep.
Hasta fungul. This is my buddy Clint. He's a coach. This was one of my old buddy VPs from LA Fitness. Miss Jules, yes, routines, checklists. She's a beast. This one. Mr. Dale Miller. You know Dale Kressler?
Yeah, of course I know.
You know Dale. Yeah, my man Joe. There he is. Good man. And we're gonna finish with Mr. Morgan saying thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. And again, thank you everyone who's watching. We appreciate the support. If this moved you, if this kind of got you moving, share it, tag someone. You know, this isn't for money why I do this. I'm not looking for sponsors. I'm not looking for anything. The best thing that you could do is share it with someone to help them get out of this this mind kind of muck that we're in right now. Mr. Berrios, again, thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Until tomorrow, everyone, we will see you. Peace. I'm out. We love you.